Michelle, Phil's oldest child. I'm actually in the room, probably crying in the front row over there. I definitely couldn't stand in front of you all today and speak over the lump that I know is in my throat today, or see through the tears that I know are clouding my eyes. In fact, someone should probably hand me a fresh tissue about now. I decided rather than have someone else read words that I write about my dad, I'd share them through video today instead. When I think about March 15th of this year, the words "too soon" come to mind. It's a common theme at funerals and memorial services. He was gone too soon. Too soon to see all of his children grown and successful and happy in careers and relationships. Too soon to see all of his grandchildren thriving as adults. And too soon to enjoy the fruits of all of his years of building a career and company, having just recently retired in January of this year. But even though it was definitely too soon, and we can all agree that 76 isn't enough years with our loved ones, he managed to pack a lot of living into the years that he did have with us. My dad and I didn't always see eye to eye on a lot of things in life, but that didn't stop us from sharing a love of different hobbies. Some of my earliest memories are when we lived on Avenue H out in Griffith, Indiana. Mom would bundle me up and Dad would take me out to the duck blind he had built. I remember sitting on a hay bale while he used his wooden duck call to try to get the ducks close enough for them to become dinner. Pretty sure the reason he seldom got a duck was less to do with his ability as a hunter and more to do with my endless chatter about anything and everything. I enjoyed spending time with him. Dad and I shared a love of music. I learned to play guitar and trumpet after years of him playing for us and singing along to everything from the Beatles to folk songs to the Kretschmer and the Smothers Brothers. And every car trip was filled with singing every Broadway song we knew. I honestly thought all families traveled that way. As a young family, we camped and hiked throughout New England and the Midwest. We saw Tom Sawyer's Caves in Missouri, Yogi Bear and his picnic basket in Jellystone Park in Wisconsin, Cadillac Mountain in Maine, and Ragged Lake in the Adirondacks, not to mention camping in our own backyard. Dad loved to cook some things. He made the best bouillabaisse out there. He could hypnotize a lobster, make ensalada de pulpo, which is octopus salad, smoke a turkey on a Weber grill, make a great venison stew, and a not so good Hassenpfeffer, and microwave a darn good flan, which is not usually the recommended cooking method. He was one of the most charismatic people I've ever known. Not only could he charm a lobster, but he could flirt with every waitress and flight attendant he ever encountered, make friends with any sailor, hunter, or fisherman he met, and command a room's attention, whether he was preaching, singing, or talking about plate heat exchangers and the latest in shelf-stable milk technology. Over the years, we've all heard stories from his childhood, singing with the show teens in Germany, doing a paper route and finding the money that Uncle Joe had lost, jumping off the roof and hurting his ankle, trying to hide it from Grandma, being made to eat Grandpa's pumpkin sauce, which I've heard is not very good, and drinking Aunt Madeline's milk only to find she had been spitting her peas into the bottom of her glass, playing the trumpet, learning engineering, learning to fish, and so much more. He also told us stories about JCS controls until he either solved the problem he was working on or he fell asleep listening. At least half of his kids and Greg's daughter Lily and even Uncle Robert worked at one point or another at JCS controls. If I'm being honest, JCS was either his seventh child or his fourth wife. He loved it and devoted his time and attention to making it something that would carry on his work legacy and that he hoped would provide for his family even after he left this earth. Dad loved to travel, which is how he ended up in Puerto Rico, where he lived for so many years. One of the things that made me laugh is that through his years there, he didn't just speak broken Spanish, but he somehow managed to break his English too. Just last year, we were still laughing together about how he would mix up words like servilleta, which means napkin, with cerveza, which means beer, and how his cry of frustration had become "Ay Dios mío," or how he would call Maggie from another room by shouting, "Mi amor." One thing my dad always had in abundance was love. He didn't always say it, but you always knew it. Even if he didn't agree with my stance on things, he was always proud that I stood by my convictions, proud of my independence, my education, and proud of my career. He bragged about each of us siblings to the others. He was proud of our accomplishments, our parenting, our careers, our educations, and our hobbies. Phil was something different to every person. The relationship you had with him helped define who he was to you. He was a friend, a coworker, a boss, a mentor, A lay pastor, a grandfather, an uncle, and a brother. He wasn't perfect. There are no perfect people, but he was perfectly ours. He was our dad. He was my dad. He is missed.